It's time for Good Game Spawn Point. Accio Goo!
Whoa, we're starting already?
We sure are. Coming up, we head into the world of wizardry with Harry Potter Hogwarts Mystery.
I'm going to go hands-on with the Nintendo Labo robot kit.
Punch, punch, punch. And we'll monkey around in the remaster of Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze.
I wonder what else this can do.
Uh-oh.
Sorry. For those of us still salty over not receiving our acceptance letters to Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry, the wait is finally over with the arrival of Harry Potter Hogwarts Mystery.
Developed by Jam City, Hogwarts Mystery is a free-to-play mobile game in which you take on the role of a first-year Hogwarts student. The story takes place years before the Harry Potter series, so you don't have to worry about you-know-who showing up.
Phew, but don't worry because you'll be kept busy. Learning charms with Professor Flitwick,
Lumos!
proving yourself a potions master with Professor Snape, and tangling with the likes of Marula, a first-year Slytherin and the self-proclaimed best witch in Hogwarts.
It really does feel like you're stepping into another world. After creating your character, you're taken through some classic Harry Potter milestones, like getting your first wand at Ollivander's and being sorted into your house.
You yourself even have a compelling backstory. As it's revealed, your older sibling was expelled from Hogwarts after hunting for cursed vaults beneath the school and has been missing ever since. Immediately, I was hooked. We've got magic, nostalgia, and now a mystery that needs to be solved.
Whoa, 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 hold your horses there. Or hold your brooms? We've got a lot to learn before then. Gameplay consists of a few simple mechanics, like tapping the screen to perform specific actions, tracing patterns to cast spells, and the occasional focus QuickTime event. These are mixed up during tasks, but once you've got the hang of them, they don't provide any challenge. But I guess the simplicity means that anyone can play without too much trouble.
Unfortunately, it's not too long before the cracks start to appear. Around 15 minutes in, I found myself trapped in Devil's Snare. And as I was trying to free myself from this frantic life or death situation, I received this message. And so read the ugly head of microtransactions.
Microtransactions are nothing new in mobile games, but I have to say that the way they're pushed on players here is ridiculous. Ridiculous! In order to earn enough stars to complete an objective, you have to expend energy. If you run out, you can wait for it to regenerate before you continue, which is so slow. Alternatively, you can spend your precious gems to buy more energy. The catch is, the game only gives you a small amount of gems at a time, but they can be purchased with real money.
Time is also a massive barrier when it comes to the flow of the game. You can be forced to wait 3 real-world hours or more to gain access to new story missions. It's so frustrating.
Which is exactly why I have my game running through a faster-than-light quantum entanglement system. And I have to say, I'm having a swell time dabbling in the arcane arts.
That's not fair, Darren. Not everyone has a whatever it is you said.
True, but even so, you can still enjoy Hogwarts Mystery without giving up your hard-earned coin. You just have to have patience and plan ahead.
But Darren, that's so boring. What about spawning to just want to play the game and not have to wait all that time?
Well, you can pay in gems to unlock missions faster, but you'll need quite a few. And while a few in-app purchases here and there doesn't seem like much, it's important to remember they can stack up fast. Oh no, I've got to go. I think my potions are bubbling over. Goodbye.
He has potions.
I wish I had potions. I mean, I do get why games have microtransactions, especially free-to-play ones. Games cost money to make, and the developers want to make money from people playing their game, which makes sense, and I wouldn't have minded so much if it was just for cosmetic options like clothes or hair. But when they block you from the story with paywalls just to stretch out the playtime, that's nasty design.
I would have gladly paid money up front if it meant I didn't have to constantly be stopping and starting all the time. I just want to be a witch. Is that so much to ask? Final thoughts, Rad?
There could be an interesting story here, but it's kind of hidden away, and what we're left with doesn't make me inclined to push forward and find it. I'm gonna give it 1 out of 5 rubber chickens.
I love what Hogwarts Mystery could have been, but not what it is. And that hurts because the Harry Potter universe has such a special place in my heart, but this just feels more like a series of in-app purchases and ridiculous waiting times wearing the Harry Potter brand. So I'm giving it 1 rubber chicken as well.
You know what we have to do?
You don't mean.
I do mean.
Wands at the ready.
Avada Kedavra! Whew. An unforgivable curse.
For an unforgivable game.
I'm in the mood for for a theme. Do we have any costumes that I can wear? Ah, yeah, all right. I can make this work. Okay, it's scooping time. I hope you're ready for some new scooping fun. Yeehaw! Get it? Like boot scooting, but new scooping? Anyway, first up, the story of an unreleased Mario racing game for the DS. Revealed at this year's Reboot Develop conference, the game by the name of Mario Motors was an idea from Sim Tower designer Yute Saito. It was set to allow players to sculpt their own car engine using the DS stylus tool and possibly even learn about acceleration through blowing into the DS microphone. But the project eventually fell by the wayside, and Saito declined to reveal why. So mysterious. Well, I guess we'll always have Mario Kart. Next up, the much-anticipated Splatoon 2 free update is here. Version 3.0 is the latest major update to the game and includes a whole splattering of new gear, music, fixes, and more. Plus, the very exclusive new rank, Rank X. This will be the highest attainable spot in ranked battle multiplayer. The much-loved Camp Triggerfish from the original Splatoon will also be added as a playable stage. No squidding! In other news, famed film director Steven Spielberg has baffled gamers by saying he played Mario using PlayStation VR? Spielberg apparently made the claim to a Japanese news outlet, Kyoto, during a press tour for the recent film Ready Player One. Of course, Mario is pretty much a Nintendo exclusive character, so this is highly doubtful. Maybe he was referring to Mario Kart VR in the Bandai Namco VR arcade in Tokyo. It's possible something might have been lost in translation. Or maybe Steven Spielberg is just a giant noob. And finally, some more cool robot news. Japanese engineers have created a real-life transformer. Yep, it's a robot that transforms into a car and can actually carry passengers. It hasn't yet been tested in the outside world, but I'd be more than happy to volunteer my services as a transformer tester. CEO of Brave Robotics, Kenji Ishida, said he was inspired by his childhood love of the Transformers that featured in the anime. Ishida said he hopes this prototype will help to inspire the human imagination. So maybe all your robot dreams can come true. After you. This robot is 3.7 meters tall and is called Jadeite Ride. If it were up to me, I would have called it Jadeite Rad. Or the Radatron. Or maybe Radimus Prime. And now it's time for a heapin' helpin' of Extra Scoop. This week we take a look back in time to an intriguing British kids game show from the late 80s, early 90s called Nightmare, spelt with a K. Before VR or online co-op, this TV show involved a sort of live-action RPG adventure. Teams worked together to direct a teammate through a quest in a dungeon-like fantasy realm, meeting characters, solving riddles, and trying not to fall off perilous edges. Could you and your friends make it through? And that's it for the scoop today. If you found something you think would be a good extra scoop, giddy on over to yonder email and send it to us here. What's another good Old West thing to say? Yeehaw! Doggone! Last week, Goose and Gem brought you our review of Nintendo Labo, so now it's my turn to have a go at the Robot Kit, which is sold separately from the Variety Kit. They say it takes about 3 or 4 hours to build the robot, but I managed to do it in just about 2.5 hours, all by my little self. So now it's time to get suited up and have a go. All right, I'm ready to be a robot. Initiating robot mode. Both of your hands in front of your chest. This is the basic stance. Raise one leg high, then lower it some. So I have to really stomp. Okay? They're all too far away. Are these what I'm meant to be punching? Yeah, here we go. Haha! You have been destroyed by Madame Rad Robot. Punch, punch, punch. Let's lift the visor and have a look. Oh, okay, this is actually much easier. Third person view. Lean to the left. Oh, okay. I thought you had to look in the direction that you wanted to walk, but you just have to lean. Okay, that makes it a lot easier. Punch, 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 punch! You can go away now, instructions, I understand. Oh, the back of the robot shows the pulleys as well. See, look. It stomps when I stomp. Punch, 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 punch. Maximum destruction! I'm actually surprised at how well the backpack is holding up because I'm being quite violent with it. Stretch out both arms. Oh! Oh, they hid that from me, didn't they? So you can fly in the game as well. Punch to the ground. It's actually quite hard to control. The punching feels cool, but the movement doesn't feel very intuitive because you kind of just want to look where it is that you would go, but instead you're leaning. Oh, cool! There's a claw mode! And I can shoot lasers! Darren would love that. But it's not very comfortable for your body. It's annoying that these big messages that I've seen before come up and I can't make them go away. I just have to wait. Punch, punch, punch! So that was robot mode. It was pretty simple, just stomping around and punching things. But now I'm gonna try challenge mode, so hopefully there's a bit more to it there. Okay, charge punch, corkscrew kick, plane mode, quick jump, special beam. So I think I have to learn how to do all these different things, and it challenges me to do a good job. Charge punch! Hit him with a charge punch! Yes, that's the sound of the charge punch. There we go. Let's do corkscrew kick. That sounds kind of cool. So I've got to lift my leg whilst falling. That's it. That was it. It was very lackluster. And I didn't even kill this one UFO. Still have to punch it. All right, I've had enough punching and kicking, so I'm gonna try the special beam. Oh no, it's moving ones! Ah! Come here, cheeky monkey! Finish! I did it. All right, it's time to see this special beam that I've earned. Better be pretty special. Special beam, boom! All right, time to retire this robot. So that was our look at the robot kit, and I have to say building it was really fun. It's cool to see how all these different pulleys and everything work, and it's satisfying to put on. The pulleys feel good and heavy, and it's got a lot of weight to it, and it can take a little bit of a beating. Not too much, but a little bit. And you might also have a lot of fun customizing your robot backpack and then customizing your robot in the game to match it. That's a pretty cool feature. But unfortunately, the gameplay isn't very fun, which is a bit of a shame. You don't want to spend all this time building something to play something that's not very fun. So in the end, I don't think I'll be coming back to this. I think the variety kit is definitely where it's at. It's got a lot more to it, and I think that's where we're gonna see cool user-made creations. Unfortunately, this was a bit of a miss for me. Can I get some help getting this off? The straps are made of cardboard.
Alrighty, ready to light those question fires and burn through some questions, Goose?
I'm all fired up, Jim.
Okay, this one is a video question from Will.
Hi GGSP, my name is Will and I have two questions for you. Question 1, will you review Pokemon Ultra Sun and Pokemon Ultra Moon? Question 2, what is your recommendations for the 3DS? Bye!
Thanks, Will. Well, to your first question about whether we'll review Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, well, I'm sorry to say it's pretty unlikely we'll do a full review of it.
Yes, given that it came out at the end of last year, around the time we were wrapping up for the holiday break, we didn't get a chance to review it when it was new.
However, Spawn Point did review the original Pokemon Sun and Moon back in 2016. I was, of course, a loyal viewer before joining the show.
And you are correct, Jim. The original Pokemon Sun and Moon was scored 4 and 4.5 rubber chickens. And considering that Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon are more or less remakes, you could take those scores as a high recommendation. The Though, of course, there are some differences, so maybe you could just carry the 1, adjust for inflation, and that could give you a good estimation of what we might score today.
But Goose, doesn't that fly in the face of the Pokemon philosophy, gotta catch them all? Or in our case, gotta review them all?
Well, I don't think it would be possible to review every game, Jem. We do have to be somewhat selective. So many games, so little time.
I guess you're right. On to some recommendations for the 3DS.
Oh, yes. Well, aside from Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, there's some other good Pokemon games, like Pokemon X and Y, and Omega Ruby, and Alpha Sapphire.
Oh, and Detective Pikachu, which might be worth a play if you're a Pokemon fan and you don't mind some simple puzzling.
Yes, if you can handle Pikachu sounding like a middle-aged curmudgeon.
Try this side by side.
Some other well-regarded classic 3DS titles include Legend of Zelda: A Link Between Worlds, Majora's Mask 3D, and the classic that is Ocarina of Time.
Then there's the ever-popular Super Smash Bros. 3DS, Super Mario 3D Land, Mario Kart 7, and Super Mario Maker.
I also quite like Animal Crossing, A New Leaf, and Dragon Ball Fusion, so there's tons to try.
Okay, let's move on to our next question. This one is from Sydney. Hi, from the land of Egyptian snakes. Can you tell me if there are any good games that have an Egyptian and/or snake theme? If you don't respond, I will send my serpents out to eat you.
Well, thanks, Sydney. We can certainly give you some suggestions for Egyptian and/or snake-themed games.
You okay?
I'm splendid.
Well, first off, you might like to give the Discovery Tour Ancient Egypt a try. It's great if you're a bit of an ancient history buff or just like to explore.
You know, Darren is actually a bit of an Egyptian expert, and I'm sure he knows a bit about snakes too. Shall we give him a call and loop him in on the discussion?
Only if you stop doing this thing.
Yeah, I'll stop now.
Hello, you've reached Darren. I'm not available to come to the phone right now, but if you have a noob you'd like to report, press 1. If you'd like to donate to my noob research crowdfunding campaign, press 2. Beep.
Okay, it went to voicemail. I guess we'll have to wing it and see if he gets back to us. Hi, Darren. We need to know some snake games and Egyptian stuff. Give us a call back. Okay, bye?
That's really strange. Yeah. Well, anyway, off the top of my head, other games that feature Egypti themes. Ooh, there's the Egyptian civilizations in Civ 6, for example, and the Egyptian campaigns in the Age of Empires games.
Oh, and who could forget the city builder Pharaoh? Even though it's an oldish game, you can still find Pharaoh and the Cleopatra expansion available as a combo for PC. And am I remembering correctly that there's some Egyptian-themed levels in Crash Bandicoot 3, which would mean they'd be available in the Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy?
Oh, yeah, I think you're right. As for snake-themed suggestions, Sydney, there's a puzzle platformer, Snake Pass, featuring a snake whose name is Noodle. Aww. There's also Slither.io, the free online browser game where you try to grow as long as possible.
Oh, and speaking of snakes and ancient history, what about that classic game simply called Snake? I think I remember hearing Darren talking about how it was popular on ye olde mobile phones. Snake games like that one are sort of a genre unto themselves too.
Ah, yes, the mobile games of the olden days.
Oh, well, I think we managed to answer your questions pretty well without Darren's input. Makes you wonder why we even need him anyway. All right, I think we have time for one last super swift question, and it's from Tyler. We'll see if Thev's nay available for PS4. Thanks. Darren is a noob. Thanks, Tyler. The long and short of this one is that it's highly unlikely that Sea of Thieves will ever be available on PS4.
Yeah, I think you're right, Goose. Microsoft actually owns Rare, the studio that made the game, so we think it's pretty safe to say they'd want to keep the game as a PC and Xbox One exclusive.
Indeed. Well, that's all we have time for today, but if you'd like to send us a question, you can go here.
We should get back to dinner gaming, huh?
Good idea. Oh. Hello?
Hello, this is Darren. I received a missed call from this number.
Hey, Darren, it's Gem and Goose. We had a question about Egypt and snakes, but you're, too late.
Oh, no!
Yeah, we actually answered it ourselves pretty well, actually.
No, but I had to do maintenance on my Cortex and I couldn't come to the phone. Oh, now the spawnlings have missed out on my infinite knowledge. Oh, this is a disaster for GGSP. Oh, a disaster for the ABC.
Originally released for the Wii U back in 2014, Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze was an almost perfect platformer that received top marks across the board. However, due to the console's poor sales, it's unlikely a lot of people got to play it.
Well, now the simian with a knack for stylish neckwear has swung his way onto the Switch with the re-release of his chilliest adventure yet.
Did it get cold here?
Yeah. The story begins with DK and the rest of the Kong clan celebrating the big guy's birthday, before rudely being interrupted by a shipload of frosty-looking fiends who put a freeze on the festivities and send the family flying. Those poor primates. There's always someone crashing their party.
I know, right? So DK must now leap, dive, roll, slide, and blast his way back home across a total of 6 island stages. Luckily, he's not alone, with the rest of the gang here to help. Diddy has his jetpack that helps you glide across large gaps. Dixie can spin her ponytail for some extra lift. And Cranky has his pogo walking stick to bounce over obstacles and through spike pits. Each extra Kong also ups your heart total, so best look after your barrel buddies.
Oh, speaking of buddies, the new addition in this Switch version is an extra playable Kong. Funky Kong.
Take it you're not a fan.
Look, here's the thing, Gem. Funky Kong in this game is essentially just an easy mode with an insane list of extra abilities. He can double jump, roll and spin underwater forever, hold his breath forever. He has 3 extra hearts. He can hover on his surfboard. And he can even use it to stand on spikes without taking damage. It takes almost all of the challenge out of the game.
Yeah, he is particularly overpowered, but I think he's there for newcomers to the series who might find it a bit difficult.
No, see, that's my point, Gem, is that one of the best things about this game is the difficulty. Everything from the enemy design to the clever layout of the levels is done with a focus on perfecting your platforming skills to make you better at the game. And without that difficulty, the game loses so much of its charm.
Well, this is known as a particularly tough game, so I didn't mind the addition of Funky Mode too much, because that's just what it is, an extra mode. It's still bugging you, isn't it?
I mean, he's just such a crappy Kong, and that radical surfer dude look is so out of date and just trying too hard. I mean, you can't just slap a pair of sunglasses on a classic character and expect them to suddenly be cool.
Yo, dude.
Not now, Darren.
Catch you on the flip side.
Okay, I think you've made your point. Aside from Funky Mode, the rest of the game remains largely untouched, which is good news. The levels are all just as creative and inventive, adding interesting mechanics and gameplay twists with each new stage. And the changing design to each new island brings with it a fresh set of foes and some unforgettable boss battles. Co-op mode is also available if you want to monkey around with a mate. Plus, you can go back to completed stages to compete in a time attack once you've really mastered that momentum.
It is still some of the best level design I've ever played in a platformer. And even after sinking some serious hours into the Wii U version, I was surprised at how fresh this felt to play through again. However, the problem with any good re-release is that lurking feeling that I'd much rather be playing a wholly new game rather than replaying this one.
So that's where we differ, because I never played this one, so it was all new to me. And I'm glad to say I had a blast. And we can only hope that Nintendo are planning a new DK adventure, and this is just to keep the fans happy in the meantime. Fingers and opposable thumbs crossed. But what are you rating this one, Goose?
Well, Gem, if you can't tell by now, I have a particular soft spot for the Donkey Kong Country series ever since I played the original on Super Nintendo 14 years ago. So, of course, I was excited to have a version to play on my Switch. But in this case, I do feel the addition of an easy mode like Funky kinda spoils it a bit for me, and I really hope he doesn't become a permanent feature going forward. Still, I'm gonna give this 4 out of 5 rubber chickens.
Well, I'm not as fussed about Funky as you are, and I think this adventure is the perfect example of everything the DK series has to offer. I'm just really excited more people get to go visit Kong Country. I'm giving it 4.5 out of 5 rubber chickens.
What was Darren wearing?
I have no idea.
That was not a good look.
Don't do it again. Ever. It's always nice to rediscover a game you missed the first time around.
Now all they need to do is put Donkey Kong in Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle.
Actually, Rad, they have, and we'll be reviewing it soon. But next week on the show, we're heading into outer space with a review of the survival sim, Surviving Mars.
Plus, we build and battle giant mechs in Battletech. And who doesn't want a giant robot for a pet?
Now don't forget to join us online. We're live streaming a new game every Friday afternoon.
The frustration begins. And we'll see you next week. Goose out.
Gem out.
Right out.